The Gemara Sechem Brachot and Dalel Vet tells us that when a person wants to say HaGomel, he should say in front of 10 people, and 2 of them should be scholars, should be Chachamim. As the Pasuk says, Mushav Zkenim and Eluhu. Mushav Zkenim, the Gemara understands, means that when there's Zaken, Zaken is Zeh Shekana Chochma. It doesn't mean a Zaken like an old person. It means a person who has wisdom. This it says, Mipnei Sevat Takum, that's what it means, to stand in front of an elderly person. But this you have to stand up for a Zaken. Zaken means Zeh Shekana Chochma, wisdom. He's a wise person, he's a Chacham. So therefore you should have 10 men, and 2 of them should be preferably scholars. Now the Gemara goes back and forth, and says maybe you need 12, maybe you need 10, and then 2 scholars on top. Who says they should be included of the 10? So the Gemara comes out with no definitive answer. The Tur quotes from the Rif and the Rambam that the bare minimum for the HaGomel is 10 people. You need to have 10 men. And then they said preferably you should have the Tur quotes the Tosafot says you should also have within those 10, 2 of them should be scholars. Mishnah Berurah quotes the Magen Avraham who says who's a Torah scholar in this matter. It's a person who you ask him halachot, he knows how to answer you halachot. He tells you sources, he tells you rulings. That's considered Talmid Chacham in our generation. But nonetheless, the Torah writes that if you don't have a Minyan, if you don't have Minyan 10 people, you could still say HaGomel. It still counts. And he says this, the Gemara says, you need 10 people, it's only l'chadchila, but Yavad you could say without 10 people. But Shulchan Aruch and Siman Resh Yutet, he quotes the opinion of the Rambam, that you need to have 10 people to say HaGomel. And then he quotes the opinion of the Tur who says that if you don't have 10, it's better, you could still say it, but the Shulchan Aruch says better not to say it with Hashem's name because it's machloket. So therefore, preferably, a person wants to say HaGomel, he should always have 10 people. And that's why the minhag is to say by the Sefar Torah. Sefar Torah doesn't come out unless there's 10 people. So for sure, when the Torah is out, we have 10 people, so that's when the custom is to say HaGomel. But it's important that 10 people answer. 10 people have to answer him that he said HaGomel. Sometimes people say HaGomel to themselves. You barely hear what he says. So therefore only 2-3 people heard him. So a person has to be loud, confident. They should have a card in the Bimah, or he should have a page in the Siddur where it says HaGomel. He should be confident and say, so everyone should hear him and be able to bless him. We answer him, we say, just like Hashem, He gave you good, He should continue to give you a selah forever, and you should bless him. So therefore, this opportunity that 10 people should bless him, he should say it out loud so to be able to do it. Nonetheless, you should try to always do it with 10 people. If a person can do it by Sefar Torah, anytime he has 10 people in a room, he can say HaGomel. It doesn't have to be by Sefar, but by the Sefar is the custom. Also, there's a question about how soon does he have to say HaGomel. The Torah writes that the person can say HaGomel even if a long time passed since whatever happened. Let's say he got healed from his illness, he had a trip that he traveled more than 72 minutes. So even a week, 2 weeks, a month passes, the Torah says, you could also say HaGomel. That's not a problem for delaying. But the Beit Yosef quotes from the Ramban that a person should say within 3 days. Preferably a person should say it right away. Those people who every day they travel a lot, every day they have a reason to say HaGomel. The minhag is, the Beit Yosef says, the minhag is they say once a week on Shabbat. Let's say he's a bus driver, or he's a taxi driver. Every day he travels very far for business. So every day he has to say HaGomel because every day he travels 72 minutes. So he doesn't have to say HaGomel every day. The minhag is he says once a week on Shabbat. But a person preferably should say HaGomel right away if he can. He should not delay it. Women are also obligated in HaGomel. A woman who was sick, a woman who gave birth, definitely, and she healed, she has to say HaGomel, and she needs to say in front of 10 men. So now that's a little bit harder to accomplish, but most of the time they have, let's say by a Brit, you have the Brit Yitzchak before, the night before, and then 10 men gather in the house anyway, so she say HaGomel over there. Technically, a woman can come to the shul, and from the women's section on Shabbat, when there's 10 men to say HaGomel from the women's section as well. That's the Sfaradi minhag as well. But women are also, Rabbi also writes that even children who got to the age of chinuch, they're able to know, and they're educated already. They're 6-7 years old. They already know what it means to bless the Kadosh Baruch Hu. If they got sick and they were in the hospital, Shalom, and they came home and they recovered, if they're able to bless, they should say HaGomel as well. They're also obligated to say HaGomel.